Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Just so I'm aware of kind of the pros and cons to each.
Yeah, so you've got a size 2 closer, and then the other one was I believe an adjustable size 1 through 4 that will have a larger footprint from Global. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so I guess starting with this model here, which is, I'm going to pull up the
TC202 maybe.
202, yeah, that's what I brought here. That's a little bit more cost-effective model that I'm considering using. Can you tell me a little bit about, like, where am I going to notice differences between this model and my previous model, which was the TC201?
So you've got you have now the model you have now is a TC2202. You have previously had a TC201. Okay,
sure.
So first and foremost, the 2202 is a physically smaller closer, which has a fixed size 2 spring, versus the 201 that will be a larger footprint and have the ability to tailor the spring tension to account for different door sizes, different mounting methods, and different environmental conditions.
Okay,
Whereas
slow her down just a little bit. So the TC201, which was my one I used originally, has a larger footprint. Has little go through that list a little slower for me would be great.
A larger footprint, number one, has the ability to give the user control over the spring tension. You can tighten that spring up.
Okay.
If you had a door that was 50 pounds versus a door that was 150 pounds, it would just be logical that your spring might need to be a little stiffer to account for that heavier door.
Okay.
After that, and then the adjustable, the 201, because of that adjustability, allows you to account for those 2 different door types just in weight alone.
Okay.
But also, the spring tension can be modified depending on how you install it on a door of the same size. If you had one door that swung in and one door that swung out, and they were the same size, and you mounted that closer on the same side of the door, your spring tension would have to be changed to account for that. And then, of course, finally, the cost. And the reason that the two fixed spring will probably work for you is that you have a known non-variable door size and weight, and you are not having to account for handicap compliance, where your opening force must be below the prescribed pounds. You don't have to adhere to that because it's not a handicap compliant opening.
Okay.
And as a result of all of that, your door size, your fixed installation, neither of these will change. I think that a 2-size closer is going to work ideal for you.
Okay. So basically where you think I'm going to where I would notice the difference would just be in my ability to make adjustments to the spring tension. And in my case, because I'm using virtually the same door on every model, I don't really have to have as much variance once I set, because I still have adjustments on the 2 spring, correct?
The adjustments, no, not on the spring. You have adjustments over the speed at which the closer will close in its sweep cycle, which is from roughly 15 degree to 90 degree, and then its latch cycle, which is roughly 0 degree to 15 degree. You can control those 2 valves. You can make it go
real. The sweep cycle
real.
and the latch cycle, I can adjust
Yes.
even on the more affordable unit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the only thing I don't really adjust on the more affordable unit is the spring tension.
Right, because you're buying the farm at a fixed size 2.
It's a fixed size 2 spring. Okay.
Yeah. Now, the only possibility to exposure of failure that we have and which is why you bought one to test, is that there is no ability to comply with a reduced closing force. So when you get this installed on the door, you might say, oh, yeah, I got to pull harder, or, oh, yeah, I got to push harder. And that's either okay, or it's like, it'll be okay, or it'll be like, oh, no, that's too stiff.
Okay.
So, and that is where you cannot control, whereas with the other one that is noticeably more costly, you can control. But, of course, in any place else in the world that's public, you're not going to have a fixed size 2, but you have to, make it compliant with handicap requirements like a bathroom at the restaurant.
Okay, I got you. So basically with this unit, as long as you feel when I install it, excuse me.
I got some of that on my lapel.
Oh, boy, sorry.
There you go.
So as long as I don't have to, as long as when I open the door, I don't, it's not extremely difficult to open and or close, then I'll be real happy with everything. That's really where my big negative could be, is if I feel that it's just too hard to open or too hard to close. Indeed,
and I think in your position, if you find that it's acceptable, but maybe not to 100% of the people, you can say, I've got 2 options, and this one's going to cost you an extra $50 or $100, whatever, or whatever the case. Or you find it's a fail, then you go back to what you're already using.
Okay. Well, that is helpful. I had my notes here, but I couldn't. Just wanted to verify that for sure. Okay. And this unit, the TC2202 that I have here, this is also a commonly stocked item that you usually have available?
It is. Obviously, if somebody orders 3,000 or 300 of these closers, then they're out of stock, but they're normal stock. As we discussed, this vendor has a minimum order. You had talked about ordering a case that gets you over the minimum to drop ship. If you want to order a small quantity, it's no problem. It just needs to go onto my stock order for all of the tiny orders. And there's a delay of 2 to 3 weeks to get something out the door because we don't send a ton of business to that particular vendor.
And what was the, I can't remember, what was the case quantity on these?
10 are in a box.
Okay, yep, not a problem. Okay, we'll keep taking a look at this closure here, maybe get it on one of the units and test it out. And then I'll either be calling you back to get an order for the 2202s or the 201s, I guess.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll be here.
Hey, thank you, Richard. Bye.
Sure thing, sir. Bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program.